the tips and tricks that have helped me and all of the other women that I've coached throughout the years that lose weight fast, and keep it off. So today I want to talk about a video that I made the other day. And kind of the theme of this video was that one of these mantras is kind of my favorite mantra to live by. And it's how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Meaning you are your biggest weakness, right? You're only as strong as your biggest weakness. So how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're struggling in one area, maybe it's because in another area is pulling you down as well. And I thought this was really cool to think about because a lot of the women that come to me, they struggle with binge eating, right? They say, I'm binging, I can't control it, I get impulsive, I can't say no, I go overboard, I'm all or nothing, right? You can't just have one bite, or you can't resist your cravings, you go crazy at night, or you go crazy on the weekends, whatever that habit is for you exactly. But a lot of the women I deal with, they say they struggle with binging. And, if we look at what is binging, well, it's basically another word for it, a word that I prefer would be overindulging, right? We are eating more than we know our body needs, right? Because we're just feeding our body excess calories. And an excess calorie is excess energy that we don't need, because most of the time, when do we binge? When do we overindulge? Well, it's usually when we're sitting down, right? At a restaurant, on the couch. We're sitting down. Usually it's later on at night or in the evening or late afternoon. And we're just not going to do anything with the energy we're feeding ourselves. So we are giving our body more than what it needs. So you're not really listening to your body there. We're kind of out of tune with it, right? And this was huge for me in my journey, because my binging would be late at night. I'd sit and I'd watch my favorite TV show. I'd go through episodes of my favorite TV show, and I'd have a snack with me the whole time. And I wasn't listening to my body. I wasn't even paying attention to what it was telling me. And I was kind of disconnected from it to the point where I could go through a whole bag of chips and still be hungry because I wasn't paying attention. I'd hit the bottom of the bag and I'd be like, holy smokes, I just ate a whole bag of chips. And then I would go and get a bowl of ice cream, and then I'd finish this huge bowl of ice cream, and it was just me being disconnected from my body. Now, the question is, how do we kind of listen to our body or rewire the signals so they can tell us the right stuff? Our bodies can tell us the right signals, because sometimes right now we're eating when we're not hungry, or we're not eating when we are hungry and we should be eating. So our wires are crossed somewhere. We've trained our body to act in certain ways and override its natural signals. So that's where I was in the middle of this weight loss journey I was trying to accomplish. My body was confused, and my brain and my stomach weren't working very well together, and it was kind of a mess, and I felt hopeless at times because there was this disconnect. I really did feel like I was extremely impulsive and I couldn't say no. And once I started, I kind of got ravenous and went into this zombie zone out mode and just kind of put hand to mouth and wasn't paying attention. Now, if this is resonating with you, if this sounds similar to the habits that you fall into sometimes or all the times or on occasion, where you consider yourself overindulging and not able to regulate that, not able to stop, not able to talk yourself down or out of it, or not able to stop it once it's completed and it kind of can roll over into the day, the weekend, etc. If that's where you're at right now, what I would challenge you to do is answer a couple of these questions, okay? Because what I found is, because of that mantra, how you do one thing is how you do everything, if we're overindulging and giving our body more than it needs in this area, chances are it's bleeding over into other areas of our life that we're either aware of or we're not aware of, right? So then you have to go, okay, if I'm struggling to be consistent with not overindulging, if I'm struggling to have control in that area, where am I not being consistent as well, right? If I'm overindulging, am I also an overthinker? Do I overanalyze? Do I overreact? Do I overcompare? Do I have those extreme behaviors in some other area of my life or with another emotion in my life? And the answer is almost always yes. We are doing the same type of habit in other areas. So we're carrying the underlying character trait in other levels of our life that we're not paying attention to. And so if we just hone in and focus on the binging and the overindulging and the overeating, yes, maybe you will get somewhere. Maybe you can have a couple little wins here and there. But if you're still doing the extreme behaviors over here to some degree, you're never going to really conquer the overeating and the binging because that habit is still present in somewhere else. So it will always bleed over. And because you're practicing that habit, it will always come back stronger, right? Even if you are trying, even if you've got motivation and inspiration and willpower and accountability buddies and your husband telling you to put it down, that habit is still so strong because we're practicing it not unknowingly in other areas of our life, right? So then what you need to do is ask yourself and sit down and say, okay, where is this habit showing up in other areas? Because sometimes if you've been focused on a habit for so long and it's not getting anywhere, it's not improving, or you don't feel like it's improving, then take a break from that habit and go focus indirectly on it. Where is that habit showing up somewhere else in my life? Where am I being inconsistent? In other areas, where am I overreacting, overthinking, overanalyzing, over apologizing, right? Over pleasing, over trying to please everybody else, right? Like, where am I overdoing it in some other area? Okay. Even if it's overdoing it in the positive, right? Over organizing. It's that extreme behavior that you're struggling to control. And it just seems to be showing up with food in an uncontrollable way, when really, if you start to tackle it and bring attention to it of where it's showing up in the other areas, it's going to become a lot more easier to tackle the food side of things because we're balancing, because we're leveling out. And I thought that was a really cool way to look at this, where you take the pressure off of, why can't I say no? Why can't I stop eating? You take all that pressure away and you say, okay, it's just a general extremist behavior that I am practicing somewhere else as well. And if I'm struggling here, let me go turn over there for a second. Let me go figure it out over there for a second. And that will give you a lot more clarity, a lot more balance, and a lot more well-rounded, healthy lifestyle. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So you have to be healthy and well-rounded in every aspect, with every area, with every behavior. That's just how it goes. So I hope that was really insightful for you. I hope you can really, take a moment and reflect on where that's happening to you, and maybe where you should focus your energy and attention maybe the next week or two to see, okay, I'll focus here because I've been falling short with the food side of things. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell notification button so you don't miss another video. And also you can head over to fitqueen.com for lots of free resources if you want to learn more about the Fit Queen way of weight loss. Okay? So I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time.